This is tutorial number 80, and it's an intro to making rims and tires in Solidworks. Now, in this intro, I'm just going to show you how I make rims and what we're going to be doing in the next few tutorials. Now, the way that I make rims in Solidworks is that I like to split it up into 3 pieces. I like to have the tire as one piece, the rim or the base as another piece, and the dish as the other. Now, why I like to do this is because it's easy to interchange the parts and alter the way that your one assembly or one rim looks quickly and easily. So right now I have like a thin walled tire. I can easily change it to a thicker walled tire. The dish, or what I have in the middle right now, I can easily replace it and put another dish or rim that I've made into here, and you can just switch around and play with different configurations and different parts quickly and easily. So having these 3 lets you change, alter, and just play around with the rim and your rim designs really quickly and easily. Now I'm just going to show you what this rim looks like when we run it through PhotoWorks. So click PhotoWorks and click Render. And in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make a rim such as this, and the techniques that I use, and the different tools in SolidWorks that we use. And again, it depends on the lighting and the settings that you have on for your own PhotoWorks, so everyone's going to get a bit different result. And that's what we get with this rim. So rim 6 that I've included on the DVD. When you run it through PhotoWorks, that's what it should look like. Now, I'm just going to show you how quick and easy it is to switch the dish, or the inside, or any of the parts on the rim. So all you have to do is right click on the part, click Replace Component, click Browse, and here let's put in a different interior dish. So let's click this one here. Let's click Open, click OK. And now we've switched the rims, or the dish inside. Click OK. And say we want to go back to the Cadillac one. You just right click, click Replace, get the Cadillac one, and you switched it back. So this is just an example of how, because I have the 3 pieces, how I like to interchange the parts, and having the 3, it's very easy to do it. And this concludes our tutorial, or our intro, into how to make rims and what we'll be doing in the next few tutorials. This is tutorial number 81, and it covers how to make a rim in SolidWorks. Now to start off, let's open up a new part file. Let's click File, click New, click Part, click OK. Now, in the last tutorial, I talked about the intro to the tire and rim assemblies that we're going to be making. So, our tire and rim assemblies are 3 pieces. We're going to have 3 components that we're going to make: the rim, the tire, and the dish. So in this tutorial, we're going to make the rim. We're going to make an outline profile of the rim, and then we're going to be using the Revolt Base feature to make the rim and bring it to life in a 3D part. So let's click Sketch, click Line, click the front plane, and let's start sketching. So right now, let's make a line that's in line with this here. So just make it go across and just follow this sketch. Doesn't have to be exact. We're just making this outline. So just try to make the same profile that I'm making here. And then we're going to make one line that goes up and down here, and that's the one that we're going to be revolving everything around. Now, let's click Smart Dimension, and let's make a dimension on each line that we have going on in here right now. And we want to put all the dimensions in right now so that when we edit one, it doesn't change all the other ones. The other ones are constant, so it allows us to manipulate the sketch a lot easier and play around with it and just make what we want happen. Now, if you get one that comes up like that, delete it, because when there's a driven parameter or a driven sketch or a driven line in the sketch, you're not able to adjust any of the other ones. So if we put this one in, it says the driven, you don't want that. So cancel it. If you click OK, delete it, and it'll be OK. This one's driven too. Let's cancel it. We don't want it. So once you have the basic sketch out here, let's start changing some of the parameters. So start out here. Make this one 6. We'll make this one here 12. Make this one here 18. This one's 18. Make this one here 18. Make this one 6. Make this one here 6. And now we have this one in here. So you have to decide how long or how wide you want your rim to be. So right now it's going to be 6 millimeters, 6 millimeters, plus whatever we have going on here. So let's say that we want a 100 millimeter wide rim. We'd want 12, 12, and 38. So let's do that. Let's make this one 38. So now we have one side of what we want to happen, or what we want to go on right now. What we're going to do is we're going to copy all these lines up here and mirror them along here. So let's do that right now. So let's click mirror and click all these lines that we dimensioned up here. And let's mirror it about this line here. And you'll see the yellow profile. That's what we're going to get. So let's click OK. And now we got it. And whatever we adjust up here is going to adjust down there. So let's just make this one 10. Does the same down there. So whatever we do to the top here, it's going to happen in the bottom. So now we also have to decide how big we want our rim to be. So it's up to you. For this one, from here to here, this is going to be pretty much the size of your rim. So you can think of it, if you want, 300 millimeters is going to, like a 300 millimeter diameter is going to give you like a 12-inch rim. So if you do 150 to the middle there, you're going to get 300 millimeter diameter, and you're going to get like a 12-inch rim. So it's up to you. You can play around with it. I'm going to put 200 millimeters in here. Click OK. So now I'm going to actually have a 400 millimeter radius, and give or take, we're around like a 16-inch rim. You can actually check it out if you want to. So let's actually click Tools, click Options, and go to Document Properties, Units, and let's look in inches what it's going to be. Click OK. So it's going to be 7.87 times 2. So we're going to have, pretty much a 16-inch rim right now using this. So you're able to adjust it if you want to. If you want a bigger rim, make it bigger. All these dimensions is up to you. I'm just showing you a basic way of doing it. So right now, let's put it back to the millimeters. Click OK. Now let's zoom in. And our sketch is good. So actually, we just want to delete this line here, or just hide it. So let's click the arrow icon, and let's delete it. So now we have the sketch all the way around. If we left that line in there, then we're going to have to use like 2 sketches to revolve around. Okay, and all these dimensions too, you're also able to adjust, change, it's up to you. So right now we have what we want, we like it, let's click OK. Now let's click the feature, the Revolt Base. Now the contour is going to be this here, and the axis is going to be this one here. And we get our yellow profile of what it's going to look like. Looks good, we like it, let's click OK. And now we've made our basic rim. Now, after you make it, if you look at it, if you like it, you don't like it, you can always go back and adjust it. So let's right click and edit the sketch. Now, let's say that I want this to be a little bit bigger. Right now, it's at 76. So let's make it a little wider. Let's make it 15 centimeters across altogether. So what we would want to put in there would be 126. And now if we dimension it from here to here, we can see it's 150 across. So we like that. Click OK, click accept, and now we've actually made it a bit wider. Now I like that. I'm going to leave it at the 150 all the way across, and we're going to use that in the rest of the tutorials. So this is a basic rim. You're able to go back around, change it, it's up to you. But in this tutorial, this is what we're going to be using. And that concludes our tutorial on how to make a rim in Solidworks. This is tutorial number 82, and it covers how to make a tire within Solidworks. Now to start off, open up the rim that you made in the last tutorial, or you can open up the Tutorial 81 rim, which I've included on the DVD. Now to make the tire fit perfectly into this rim here, what we're going to do is we're going to reverse engineer it. So to start off, have it open, and then click File, Save As, click Save as Copy, and let's make it 82 tire. Now right now we still have the 81 rim open, and we don't want to play around with this one, so let's close it and open up the 82 tire wherever you saved it. Now to reverse engineer it, what we're going to do is we're going to edit the sketch that we use to make the rim. So let's right click, click edit sketch, and click the front view. And what we're going to do is we're going to make the tire in here instead of using this as like the rim profile. We're going to just extend this out, trim some of these lines, and we're going to have the tire, and it's going to fit perfectly inside as we're using the exact same dimensions. So the first thing that we're going to do though is we're going to delete this dimension here and click Smart Dimension, click the inside line here and click there, and you should have the 206 radius or whatever you've had. You want to make it on this line because we're going to keep this line and we're going to delete this line. Now let's click line, click the point up here, go across, down, and across, and now we've made the profile for the tire. So we just have to delete some of these lines. So let's click these lines, select them all. You can select them all by holding Control, or you can delete them one at a time, it's up to you. Click delete, yes to all, and now we have the profile for our tire. Now let's make the sidewall here. This line here is going to be your sidewall, so let's make it 35 millimeters. Click OK. And you can either make a solid tire like this, or you can make it, because tires have air inside, you can make it have like a wall thickness. It's up to you. In this tutorial I'm just going to leave it solid, but you can go around just quickly and then you have like a wall thickness all along there. I'm not doing it for this tutorial, so I'm just going to leave it thick, and it's going to be one solid piece. Now you're also able to either add a fillet now or later, so you can either revolve it now and then make a couple fillets on these corners. I'm going to do it right now, so let's click Sketch Fillet, click that line and that line, and let's make it 15 millimeters radius. Let's do it again on this side here. And let's make it 15 again. Now, once you have all these things done, just click OK. And if it gives you a problem like this, just say no, rebuild anyways. Sometimes, I don't know why, it'll work, and sometimes it won't, by updating it by itself. Solidworks is funny this way for some reason. But don't worry about it. If it rebuilds perfectly and it comes out with your tire after, you're good. If you get this warning, don't worry. Just click no, rebuild anyways. You have a problem, close, that's fine. Right-click the revolve that you made, click delete, click yes, you still have your sketch. So using this sketch, let's revolve it. So start all over again, using that as our axis, revolve that around, click OK, and now we have our tire. And there we go. So now from the rim, we reverse engineered our tire. And that concludes our tutorial on how to make a tire within SolidWorks. It's tutorial number 83, and it covers how to add texture to your tire within SolidWorks. Now to start off, open up either the tire on the DVD or the one that you made yourself. So what we're going to do in this tutorial is we're going to add tread and texture to this tire so that when we use it and when we apply it in PhotoWorks and stuff, it gives you a realistic feel. So you're able to do a couple things. Either if you want to just make it black, click black, put it on all the faces. It's up to you. Or if you want to actually add some real texture and make it look professional and real, you can use the PhotoWorks materials, add it to it, and by using PhotoWorks, it gives you a wonderful dimension. So just to start off, open up your PhotoWorks, tools, add-ins, make sure it's turned on. So with your PhotoWorks, you're going to have to go into your materials, rubber, and texture. And I've got tire tread here. So what we're going to do is we're going to add it to the top, the curved surface, and the sidewall. And we're going to do it on both sides. Now it's up to you. You can do it all the way in if you want to. For me, I'm just going to do those surfaces because how we made this rim, it's going to fit right in, so you're not going to be seeing anything else but it's going to go tire then rim, so you won't see any gaps. It's up to you. You can make the rest all tire tread if you wanted to. So first off, let's just grab this and let's drag it onto the top surface. Now if we move this around and zoom in, you can see this is the tire tread pattern on the side here, and what we can see on the tire is with the scaling what it's going to look like. So if we play with this, pulling it in gives us more tread, pulling it out gives us less. So play with it and just get how much tread you want. I think it looks good when you kind of pull it in just when it's like touching the line. So right there looks pretty good. So accept that, and now let's put it on the two side edges that we made. So just throw it on there, and I like the scaling for that right now, so just click OK. Let's do it on the other side too. Scaling's good. Click OK. Now let's do it on the sidewalls. Now for the sidewalls, for the scaling, what we're going to do is we're going to pull it in all the way so that if you zoom in, you can see it's multiple treads, and we're going to keep pulling it in and in until it's very little and it just looks like just rubber on the side. So it's just like a cheap little way of fibbing some rubber on the side. Gives it the same color all the way around, so that's why I like it. So click OK, and just do it on the other side for the sidewall. Just click it so you know where it is. Drag it onto there, and do it again. So just drag that very small, zoom in, and it just looks like the rubber. So click OK. And just to check and see if it looks good, if you like the tread and the pattern and everything, let's click PhotoWorks, render, and it's just going to render and show us what the tire tread and what it's going to look like in PhotoWorks with all the texture. Now, the lighting for everyone's going to be different, so you can play around with it and just see where the lighting is and how it's going to look for you. So I'm going to do this one again, just because it was a little dark the first time. So let's render it again. And this time you can see the tread a little bit better. So just play around with it with the lighting and the color and stuff. So you can see the tread pattern that we made in the middle, and on the sidewalls they blend in pretty well, I would say, and on the side just looks like the rubber on the side. So just play around with the dimensioning and how much you want to scale it, and you can make all the texture and the colors that you want on your rim and tire. So this tutorial concludes how to add texture to your tire on SolidWorks. This is tutorial number 84, and it covers how to make the dish in your rim within SolidWorks. Now to start off, let's open up the 81 rim that you've made yourself or that I've included on the DVD. And what we're going to do with this rim is we're going to reverse engineer the dish coming out of it like we did for the tire. So to do this, let's open up the 81 rim, click File, Save As a copy, and I've already done it. We have the tutorial 84 dish. So just save it as a copy. Once you've done that, close the 81 rim and open up the 84 dish. And like the other with the tire, we're going to reverse engineer from the original sketch. So let's click Edit Sketch, click the front view, and with this, it's totally up to you. You can make whatever you want. The only parameters or dimensions that you really have to follow is that we're going to make this little corner is going to be where the dish begins, and it has to end up in line with this axis here. So this is a free-for-all. It's up to you. Be creative, make it whatever you want. So I'm just going to do a basic one, just a little simple one. And make sure that you see that blue dotted line there. And this dimension here, it's going to be the radius of where you're going to be bolting, I guess, like your rim to your hub or rotor. So you can make it whatever size of like your hub or rotor is going to be, that's what you'd make it to. This tutorial, I'm just going to make this 30 with like the radius, and same with the bottom. And with the bottom, it doesn't really matter. You're not really going to see it. So it doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be exact. And I'm going to add a little bit of a curve here. I'm going to make this 30. Actually, I'm going to make it a little bit more. Let's make it 50. Now, once you have everything in place, doesn't really matter where you have this bottom line. It's up to you. You can play around with it. If you want to make it look nicer, you can do it, but you're not going to really be seeing it. So once you have your dish, the basic outline, make sure it's touching these corners, comes out from there, and that this line here is in parallel with this axis. Now we can go around and delete some lines. So let's select these lines here that we don't need. You can do it one by one. I'm selecting them all at once. And also delete this axis here. Click delete, yes to all. And now you're left with just the profile of your dish. Now click OK. you're going to have a problem. Don't worry about it. Click no. Close it. Delete the revolve that we had before. And let's make a new one. And we're going to revolve it around this line here. And you can see the preview. Click OK. And now you have just the basic dish from what we're going to use to cut out and make the rim, the total tire, and assembly from. Now, after you've made it, if you don't like it, all you have to do is just right click, edit the sketch, and you can change some of the parameters. So, say we want to drag this down, you can drag it up. Let's drag this up just to show you an exaggerated. So let's click OK. And now you can see that it changed the dish or the insert there. So you just go toggle between the two, play around with it until you like what you're seeing. So from this dish, we're going to be making the holes, the cutouts, and we'll be completing our tire and rim assembly. And that concludes our tutorial on how to make the dish for the rim within Solidworks. This is tutorial number 85, and it covers how to make the bolt patterns for your tire and rim within Solidworks. Now to do this, open up the dish that you've made, and what we're going to do is we're going to make the bolt pattern for your tire and rim assembly. So to start off, just click this face here, click sketch, and click circle. Now let's look at it from the front, and just move it around so you can see it dead on. Now let's go straight up from the origin. Let's make the circle, and let's dimension this circle to, let's make it 15 millimeters. And let's dimension it from the center let's make it 50. Now you can either put it directly on this face if you wanted to extend it, or on the angle on like the slope there. It's totally up to you. Size of the bolt, it's totally up to you. The distance from the center, it's up to you. If you really wanted to match it up to a real car, you just have to look online for like the bolt patterns, the distances, and you could play around with that. For this, I'm just showing you just a basic way to do it. So once you have all those lined up, just click Feature and Extrude Cut, and let's make a midplane, and we'll do 50 millimeters. Click OK. Just go through both sides. It's good. So we have our first bolt. Now let's view all the temporary axes, and now we're gonna do a circular pattern to make the bolt pattern. So click circular pattern. It's already got the cut that we just made selected, and all we have to do is select the axis. So we viewed like the temporary axes, we turned that on, so now we can see the axis in the middle of the circle of the dish. So let's click it, and now if you zoom out, you can see the other instances that are going to go around. So right now let's make a 5 bolt pattern. So to do this, let's put it in there, and you can go all the way around, and you'll see for making your 5 bolts. Now to do this quick and easy, so you can get it dead on all the time, just put 360 degrees divided by 5. Gives you the perfect degree all the time. So whatever, however many instances you want to put in there, if you want to make it all the way around, always put 360 degrees divided by however many. So in our case it's 5, click OK, perfectly spaced, click OK, and now we have our bolt pattern. Now let's change this to a 4 bolt pattern. So right click, click Edit Feature, make it 4 instances, and for this let's do 360 divided by 4, 90 degrees each, and now we have the 4 bolt pattern for the dish or rim. Now we can also say, instead of a circle, say you want a hex bolt pattern, just a different look or whatever, we can always edit this sketch And actually, let's say we want the holes bigger. So double click on the size of the sketch. And let's make it 20. Bigger hole, click OK. Now we have a bigger hole all the way around. Alright, and you can change the shape by editing that sketch all the time. You can always change the shape, distance from the middle, whatever you want. And let's put it back to 5 bolt pattern. So let's do the 360 divided by 5. Let's make it 5 instances, click OK. And now we have our 5 bolt pattern with 20mm bolt holes. So now we made the holes for our rim. And that concludes our tutorial on how to make the bolt holes for your tire and rim. This is tutorial number 86, and it covers how to add texture and materials to the rim and dish for your tire within Solidworks. Now to start off, open up the rim either from the DVD or the one that you made, and also open up the dish that you've made with the bolt patterns, or the one that's on the DVD. It's up to you. And what we're going to do in this tutorial is we're going to apply materials for both of these that we're going to use when we're creating our final assembly. So when making the material selection, it's up to you what you want to use. When I'm making it though, what I'm going to do is that for the rim and the dish, I'm going to make them the same material so that it blends in together. If you have 2 different materials or 2 different textures, you'll start from one and stop on the other. So I'm going to keep the same material going on. So you can either select a material through here, so you can right click, click edit material, and you can choose from a list on the side here. So I'll choose an aluminum alloy, I'll choose 2014, click OK, and now we have that material applied to the rim. Now let's take this off, so let's right click on it, click edit material, click remove material, click OK, and now we have no material selected again. For the material, what I would suggest is using the PhotoWorks. So go into PhotoWorks, and under all the materials, you can choose what type you want to make, like what kind of texture you want it to be. So under metal, there's a bunch. There's steel, chrome, aluminum, so it's up to you what you want to use. Now let's make this chrome, so let's double click on chrome, and then you can choose a different type of chrome that you want to have. I'm going to choose the matte chrome, so I'm going to select it, and instead of putting it on face by face, I'm just going to drag it onto the name of the part right there. So I'm going to drag and drop it, and now it's on the whole part. And if we use PhotoWorks to render it, we're going to see the chrome put onto the rim. And again, because of lighting and everything, everyone's is going to be different, but now we have a chrome rim there. So now let's switch over to the dish, and let's do the same to that. Let's make it chrome, the matte chrome, put it onto the highest level there, let it apply, and let's render it. And now we've added the material or the texture to the dish. So now when you use it, you select whichever one, whichever material, whatever kind you want. I would just suggest to make sure that both the dish and the rim both have the same material, and you're good to go. And that concludes our tutorial on how to select the material or texture for your rim and dish for your tire assembly in Solidworks. This is tutorial number 87, and it covers the assembly of the tire and wheel within Solidworks. Now to start off, open up the dish, the rim, and the tire, either the ones that you've made or from the DVD. Now to start off, let's open up an assembly. So let's click File, click New, click Assembly, click OK. And now we're going to insert all these components and create our tire wheel assembly altogether. So let's first view the origin, and let's put the rim onto the origin. Now let's click Insert Component, bring the tire in, and let's do some mating. So click Mate, click this line here, and click this line here, make it concentric, and now let's click this face here, and this face here, and make them coincident. Click OK. And just to make sure, check your top and bottom to see if they line up. If they don't line up, you're going to have to go into the sketches of both of these and just make sure that all your dimensions are right. So I'll just show you what I mean. So let's say that for some reason this was hanging lower than it should be, and this is flush on the top, so the length from here to here is too much. So you just want to check the lengths and make sure the sketches are the same. So go to Window, look at your rim, go to Edit the Sketch, look at the front view, check the dimensions. This one's 150 from top to bottom. Now let's go and compare it to the tire. And let's look at it from the front, and it's 150 from the top and bottom too. So our sketches are good, our assemblies are good. If you run into problems, just make sure that all the dimensions are looking good right now. So click Accept, go back to the assembly, and let's bring in the dish. So click Insert Component, bring in your dish, and let's mate this line and this line, concentric mate. And then let's mate this face here, and this face here. Click OK. And now we've mated our entire assembly. Now just check out how it looks, throw it into your PhotoWorks, and let's render it. Click PhotoWorks, click Render. And now again, depending on everyone's lighting and everything, it'll come up different. And you can see our basic tire wheel assembly that we have. Now, if you notice around the edges here, it gets a little choppy from the rim to the tire, and if you notice between the dish and the rim, it's not choppy at all. And what that is from is when I was talking about the material selection for the rim and tire, for the rim and dish, is that these two are the same material, so you don't notice a jump from one to another as they have the same diameter. This line and this line is common to both, and you will see a jump from one material to another as they're very close. And if you go into the assembly, if you zoom in, you can see the gap there jumping from one to another. They have the same diameter, but the materials are different, so you'll see the jumping. And if you zoom into this one, it's the same. You can see like the jump from one to another, but as the materials are the same, you don't notice it. So to fix this, it's up to you. If you don't mind it, you can leave it. If you want to fix it, all you have to do is go to the tire, edit the sketch, and the dimension here that says 12 and 12, you just have to adjust that. So let's make it 14, and we'll make this 14. Click Accept, go back to the assembly, update it, and now you don't have that gap going from back and forth. So let's just render it and take a look again. And this time it should be more flush, and you won't see the gap between one material and another. And you can see that from the rim to the tire, it's flush, and you don't see the jumping from one diameter to the other. So it's up to you. The other way, it's minute. It's not a big problem. It's up to you. It's just an adjustment that you can make. Now, this assembly here is going to be the basis from now on for making the tire and the rim. All that we're going to do from now on is adjust and cut out all the different patterns on this dish. And that's the beauty of making this 3-piece type, that you have these 2 pieces, they're fine. All you have to do is you can make different rims, different dishes, and just keep inserting them or changing them, and everything works good. So this concludes our tutorial on making the assembly of the tire and wheel. This is tutorial number 88, and it covers how to make a basic 5-star rim within Solidworks. Now to start off, make sure that you have the wheel or tire assembly open and the dish. Now make sure that the dish that's in here is the same that we're going to be editing over here, so that when we cut it out here, you're going to be able to see the result in the assembly over here. So first, let's go to the dish. Let's make it into the top view. Click the top plane, click sketch, and let's start editing it. So let's click circle, and let's make one big circle and one small circle. Now click smart dimension, and let's dimension the inner one. Let's make it 230, and the outer one, just put a dimension on it and leave it. It just has to be outside of the part. Now let's click the line tool, and let's make 2 lines that are perpendicular to the circle. So click the point, wait for the yellow dotted lines, and follow them up. And do it again on the other side. Now click the smart dimensioning tool, and let's throw in a couple dimensions. Let's put the dimension in between these 2. And let's make it 30 degrees. And let's make a dimension from here to here. And also do the same on the other side here, so we can see how much we need to adjust. So we want to make these 2 equal, so just look at the 2, add them together, divide by 2. 0.45 divided by 2. And now they're equally spaced on each side there. Now once we have that in there, let's click 3-point arc, and let's join each side here. And let's delete the circles out here. Click extrude cut. Make it a mid-plane, make it 50. Keep going with it until it eats up the whole assembly there. Click OK, and now we've made our cut there. So now let's click circular pattern, click on the temporary axis, and we're going to make 5 of them, so they're going to be 72 degrees apart, 5 instances. Click OK, and now we've cut out a basic little 5-star there. Now if we switch over to our original assembly, you're going to see that now we have a basic little 5-star rim there. And this is like a basic little 5-star dish, it's nothing special. It's just to show you the relationship between the 2 and just how to make one quickly and easily. Now let's take a look at it, what it looked like when we use PhotoWorks. So let's open up PhotoWorks. Zoom in a little bit. And with your PhotoWorks, let's render. Now with everyone, each one's going to be different depending on lighting and everything, but for the most part we should get pretty much the same results. And now we made just the basic 5-star rim. And now we can go back to that other dish and we can keep editing it if we want to. You're able to change the angles, anything that you want. Now let's say that we want to put a little bit of a chamfer or a fillet or a fillet. So let's click the fillet and let's go into these edges here and let's fillet them. And let's get a full preview. We like it, it looks good. Click OK. And now if we switch back, we can see the one corner in here was we put the fillet on, and the rest are just regular. Now switch back again, and this time let's put a chamfer, and let's put it on the one right beside it. Click OK. Now we put a chamfer on those edges. Switch back. And now you can see that we have the chamfer there, the fillet there, and these ones are just normally from what we cut out before. So you're able to go back and forth, toggle, and you can just play with the design that you have. You can keep editing it, changing the angles, changing the curves, whatever you want. And this concludes our tutorial on how to make a basic 5-star rim. This is tutorial number 89, and it covers how to make a 6-spoke rim within Solidworks. Now to start off, open up the wheel assembly and open up the dish, and make sure that the dish is the same dish that you have in the wheel assembly so that when we make changes, we're going to be able to see it in the assembly. So go to the dish and click the top plane, click the top view, zoom out a little bit, and click sketch. And we're going to draw 2 circles, one outside, one inside, same as the other tutorial. And we're going to make this diameter, we're going to make this one 220, and then the outside, just throw a diameter on it, and just leave it. Now with the line, we're going to make a couple perpendicular lines again, like the other time. So, make your perpendicular line, and make another one right across. Now the smart dimension. Let's make this dimension 30. And let's make this dimension here 30. And let's make the angle in between the two. You can either drive it from this, or you can drive it from the ends here. So right now we're just going to leave it with that. Now, with a 3-point arc, just connect it over. Same on the bottom. And let's delete the outside circles. And click extrude cut. Use the mid plane. And keep going until it cuts all the way through. Click OK. And we've got our first cut. So now with the circular pattern, we're going to make a 6-spoke rim, so let's do it 6 instances. Now make sure that you have the temporary axis and you have it highlighted. So we're going to need 60 degrees and 6 instances. Take a look at it. Looks good. Click OK. And now we have our 6 cutouts. Now we're trying to make a 6-spoke rim, and what we have right now is more or less like it's like the 5-star dish. So what we want to do is make these straight out. So let's click the top view, click the top plane, and we're gonna have to make another couple sketches here. So click sketch, click line, and from this point here we're gonna go straight out, and the same on this side, we're gonna go straight out and cut them out. So get the rectangle, and let's just zoom in a little bit here. This point here, make sure you grab it, pull it out so that you're going to cut off that whole corner there. These don't have to be exact, just make sure that you're going to be getting the straight cutout and that you're getting rid of everything inside of here. So make sure that this edge is outside, not inside here. Do the same on the bottom. Now click extrude cut, and we're going to do the mid plane again. Make sure it goes all the way through. Click OK, and now we have one spoke there. So now we're going to do the circular pattern again. 60 degrees 6 times. Click OK, and now we have our 6 spokes. So now let's flip back to the assembly. And now you can see that we made a basic 6-spoke rim. So in PhotoWorks, let's just zoom in a little bit here. Just adjust it however you like. And with PhotoWorks, just render it, see what it looks like. And you have just a basic 6-spoke rim. So from this design, you can go out and you can go crazy. You can change the bolt patterns, the angles, all this kind of stuff. You can play around with it even more. Like we did last time, you can add a fillet going all the way around. So let's try that. And let's put a chamfer on this side here. So now we can just get a feel of playing around with it. So let's flip back to the assembly and just take a look at what's going on again. So we've got the fillet going on there and the chamfer there. So you can play around with it. You can cut out more down the middle. You can make these each spoke wider, thinner. It's up to you. You can pull it more into the center. So this is just your little bit of like a template, so you can go out and you can play around with like the 6-spoke style, and you can make it your own. And this concludes our tutorial on how to make a 6-spoke tire wheel rim assembly within Solidworks. This is tutorial number 90, and it covers how to make directional rims within Solidworks. Now to start off, make sure that you have the wheel assembly open and that you have the dish open. And make sure that this dish is related to this assembly so that when we make changes, we're going to see them in the assembly. Now first, I'm going to show you a couple pictures of a directional rim and a non-directional rim just so we know the difference. So I've pulled up a couple pictures here, and these are the types of rims that we've been making. They're non-directional and they're symmetrical, so it doesn't matter which side of the car you put it on, you're going to get the same effect, same look, same feel. Now directional rims look like this, so that when we put it on the passenger side compared to the driver's side, we're going to get two different looks and we're going to get two different feels. So when you see the tire, or like the wheel, the whole thing spinning, when it's on the passenger side, you're going to see it spinning this way. It's going to appear or look to someone on the side one way, and when you put it on the driver's side, it's going to spin this way, and it's going to look to someone on the side looking a different rim, different pattern, different direction. So with a directional rim, they're not really symmetrical, so when you put it on a left side and a right hand side of a car, there's going to be a difference. And you can have a directional rim, you can have them that are specific to a left side or a right side of a car, but for the most part, they just make one rim, one design. Doesn't matter which side of the car you put it on, so you're going to get two different looks, two different feels. So now let's go and let's make a directional rim. So let's go onto the dish, click the top plane, click the top face, and let's make a couple circles. So make one circle that's outside and make one circle that's inside. Click Smart Dimension, and let's make this one 230. And just throw a dimension on this one here and just leave it. And click the line tool and click the center point and click on the line here. Doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be perpendicular or anything to that. Now we're going to click another line here, and we're going to make it perpendicular to this line here. So just go straight up. And for this one, we're just going to have a little bit of a feel around. We don't have to make this perfect, so just pull it out, say about halfway out to the edge. Get the 3-point arc. Click a point there, and just pull it out a little bit so you get the edge. Don't have it below. Actually, you can do it either way, it's up to you. Just pull it out. We're just making one side different than the other corner, just so we can see like the direction kind of thing. So you can pull it in or you can pull it out. It's up to you. I just want to show the direction, like a directional rim, so one side's going to be a little bit different than the other. So let's pull this in like that. And let's put a 3-point arc here. Click the line and let's delete these 2 circles. Click feature, click extrude cut, mid-plane, and just keep going until it goes all the way through. Click OK, and now we have our first notch there cut out. So click circular pattern, and let's do it 5 times. So 72 degrees, 5 instances. Click OK, and now we've got a directional rim. If we look at it straight on, we're going to have a different effect if we have it on the driver's side or the passenger side. So now let's flip back to the assembly. And you can see that we have a directional rim. So when we put it on the passenger side, when it's moving forward, this little cutout here is going to be moving forward. And when we put it on the driver's side, this straight line here is going to be moving forward. So let's just render this, see what it looks like. And you can see that we have a slightly different pattern going on from one side to the other there. So we've replicated a directional rim, such as the one that we have here, that when you put it on the passenger side and the driver's side, you're going to get 2 different looks and 2 different feels. And again, you can go back into the rim, you can make adjustments, you can throw a fillet or a chamfer anywhere you want. Let's try a chamfer. Let's chamfer these edges here. Then we'll go back to the assembly. And we can see that we have the chamfer there, the fillet there. So you can go back and forth, change your rim. And this concludes our tutorial on how to make a directional rim within Solidworks. This is tutorial number 91, and it covers how to modify the rim within Solidworks. Now to start off, open up a tire or rim assembly that we've either from the DVD that we've already completed or one that you've made on your own. Now what we're going to do here is we're just going to modify this rim here so that it fits a little nicer with the dish that we put into it. So make sure that you have the rim open and make sure that's the right rim. And so when we make a modification there, that we're going to be able to throw it in here. Now what I'm going to show you here is how we have like this edge that it kind of like that we've made the dish fit into. What we're going to do is kind of curve this out, smooth it out, so that you get a nicer finish and a nicer look all the way around. So that when we're rendering, and I'll just give you an example here, that it gives you a much more cleaner look and not so much of a jump or like an edge, pretty much. So you can see in the rendering here that we have an edge, you can tell from like one level to another. So what we're going to do is we're just going to make this a little more curved and make it a little bit nicer for the whole rim all the way around. So switch over to the rim, and what we're going to do is we're just going to add a fillet here, fillet. So click the line there, and let's make this one 12. Click OK, and we have a fillet all the way around there. And we're going to click this edge here too, and we're going to smooth this one out too. We're going to put a 2 mil rad on it. So now we have a nice, clean, smooth look going from one to another. So let's toggle back, update it, and you can see that we have a nice, clean, smooth look going from one to another there. So let's render it close in there again. And this time we'll be able to see a nice smooth transition from one level to the other there, and not so much of a big jump and gap. Okay, and now let's zoom out and let's do one more rendering so we can see how it looks all the way around with a nice smooth contour there. So let's render it. And depending on what rim or dish design that you have in there, you can edit it and play around with it. You can edit the dimensions of the rim completely so that you have a totally different look. But just adding like a little fillet like this, fillet, it allows you to have a much nicer transition from one to another, and it makes the rim look a lot nicer. And that concludes our tutorial on how to modify the rim within Solidworks. This is tutorial number 92, and it covers how to make a one-piece rim within Solidworks. Now to start off, open up a rim that we've already completed or that you've already completed yourself. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a one-piece rim. So instead of having the dish and the rim, we're going to make everything off of the rim completely. So in our assembly, we're only going to have the tire, then the rim, instead of having the tire, the rim, and then the dish. Now, why I like to have the three parts, specifically in SolidWorks, is that when we use the PhotoWorks, you don't notice at all that there's three parts in there. You don't see that there's the dish and then the rim. So when I'm editing the dish alone, it's a lot easier just to edit the dish and then throw it in the assembly rather than having the dish and the rim assembly all together in one part. So it's much easier, personally, for me, that's how I look at it, of editing and playing around with it. But if you want to make a one-piece rim instead of having the two pieces, I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So start off, click on the dish that you have in there, and let's just delete it. And now open up the rim in a new window, and we're going to edit it and create the whole rim and tire. We're going to try to do the 6-spoke just like what we had before. So to start off, let's edit the sketch here, click the front view, and what we're going to do, if you remember when we made the dish, is that we used these corners here and we sketched out, and that's exactly what we're going to do here. We're going to do pretty much the same thing. So don't worry about being precise, we're just going to do a basic sketch out. So click this point here, come out, come straight across, come down, and make sure that you're in line with this guy here. And do the same coming back. Actually, let's make that a little thicker. And just do the same coming back. And click the select button there, and what we're going to do is we're going to delete this line here and this line here. And we're also going to delete this line here. Click OK. And now we're not going to have the sketch because we lost that line that we deleted in the middle here for reference, so don't worry, delete the feature and then do a Revolt Base. Click that line there. We're going to use this as the center. Click OK. And now we have our rim and our dish pretty much together. So this is where we would be making our cuts and creating our assembly from. So let's first make the 5 holes in it for the tire to mount onto. So let's click front view, top view. Let's do it on the top. Click top plane, click sketch, click circle, and from the center point just make a circle, smart dimension, and let's make it 20mm diameter, and let's make it 40 from the center. Click feature, click extrude cut, and click midpoint, and just keep going until it comes through. Click OK, and we got our first hole. Now click view, make sure your temporary axes are turned on, that little line there, so that when we use a circular pattern, we use that to go around. So let's make it 72 degrees, 5 instances, click OK, and now we have our hole pattern. Now to do the cutouts for the 6 spokes, instead of how we always cut it on the top and we just cut out like the circles were outside everything, this time flip it around and we're going to do all the cutouts from the bottom. So click the bottom view, click the top plane, click sketch, click circle. Now our first sketch that usually we would put way out here, we're going to make it touch this line and then just come in a tiny bit. And let's click this point here, pull it out. Now click Smart Dimension. So what we can do here is, like we did before, we usually had like a 220 or 230 radius, so we can do that. Now with this radius here, we can either make it smaller, we can say make it 350, and we can look around and say that's like the cutout that we want in this rim, in this design, we can do that. For this one though, I'm actually going to delete this one, and I'm going to make it touch the line that we made it touch before. So click the center point, and I'm going to make it touch there. So now when we look at the top here, we're going to cut out everything all the way to the edges there. So let's click the bottom view again, and now let's start making our lines in our cutouts. So let's first, oh, that's already dimension, sorry. So let's put our line here, make it perpendicular, and chain, do the same over here, perpendicular, click Smart Dimension, and from the center point, we're going to make them 35. Do that on both sides. And then close them up with a 3-point arc. And then let's delete the outside lines. Click Extrude Cut. Click Midplane and cut through. And now we've made our first cut there. Now click Circular Pattern. And let's do 60 degrees 6 times. And now we have our cutouts there. Now let's turn them into like the spokes. So click the bottom, click sketch, click top plane, click line. And before, what we did was we just made a rectangle and we went straight out, and it didn't matter. Nice and easy. We didn't have to really dimension anything. This time we're gonna have to click line, and we're gonna have to make it go straight and then touch this point here, click end chain, and then do one from here and make it touch this line anywhere here. It doesn't matter what angle. Click end chain and do the same on the bottom side here. Click 3-point arc, and let's close them up. Click feature, click extrude cut, cut both of those, midplane, click OK. Do the circular pattern around, 60 degrees, 6 times. And now we have our 6 spokes. So now, if we flip back to the assembly, you can see that we have the 6-spoke pattern like we had before. Now let's flick back to the dish here, and we're able to make fillets and chamfers if we want all the way around. So around these edges, let's make some little fillets. So let's make them 3 mils. And let's make it go all the way around. Do each one. Click OK. Now we're just polishing up the rim a little bit and just making it look a lot nicer. So let's do some of these ones here. So let's click this line and that line there. Let's play around with the dimensions. Let's see when it's 15. And we can see what it's going to look like. So let's do one. Let's do each side here on this one. Click OK. And now it just joins into the rim a little nicer. So we can play around and we can do that all the way around. If we want the center to go in, we can edit the sketch, and what we were using as our dimensions, we can pull it in. So let's try that. Let's click edit sketch. Wrong one. This one here. Edit sketch. And let's click the front view, bottom view, and let's throw a bunch of dimensions on there that we had before. And we need to put all these dimensions on so that we don't lose our positioning where everything was. So just throw all these around. And once it's over defined, delete that. So let's make this radius here, let's make it 100. Click OK. Click accept. And now we just pulled it in a little bit. So you can play around with those and you can just edit it. Now, let's go back to how it was before. And let's just finish doing these fillets all the way around. Now, it would make sense to do a circular pattern all the way around, but I'll show you actually right now. For some reason, whenever you do circular pattern with fillets, I don't know if it's me, but I'm very unlucky and it never works. So I put in 60, put in 6, and if you look at it dead on, it looks like they're all in the right place. You click OK, and it says that there's errors. For some reason, I've always noticed whenever you try to pattern fillets all the way around something, you always get errors. So when we're doing this one, we're going to have to manually do it all the way around. Click OK. And now we have our fillets joining the edges. Now let's go back to the assembly. And we can see how it's all joined. And instead of having 2 pieces, we only have 1 piece there. So let's just render this right now. And I guess the difference between the two is that when we have the 3 pieces, when we have the dish, the rim, and the tire, it's a lot easier to put it together quickly, easily, and manipulate it. When you have the rim and the tire only, when you're making the rim, it's a lot more time consuming. Putting it together, it's a little harder, but the thing is, you get a lot nicer results when you're doing it, such as getting like these corners in, filleting them, putting a fillet in, and you're just able to add a bit more polish and a little bit nicer touch to each of the rims. And that concludes our tutorial on how to make one-piece rims within Solidworks. This is tutorial number 93, and it covers how to add a logo to your tire and rim within Solidworks. Now to start off, open up the Rim 6 assembly, which I've included on the DVD. And this rim is a Cadillac rim that I modeled, and inside the middle you can see that there's a Cadillac logo, and when we go to render it in PhotoWorks, you'll see that the logo is still there, and we get the effect that there's like the logo, the symbol, whatever we want to call it, in the middle of the tire and rim. Now, with the logo that I added in here, it's not just a decal that we would normally put on in an image, or like a decal that we just put on as an image on the part. It's actually extruded out too, so it's got some body to it too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the part and I'm going to show you how we did this. So this is the dish here, and with the logo here you can see that it's from an extrude. So we put it on the side, you can see that it's extruded out a bit. So I'm going to go kind of step by step and show you how I made it. So to begin, let's right click on the sketch, click Edit Sketch. So if we look at it from the top view, zoom in, first what we did, or what I did, was I put on a image of the logo that I wanted to bring out, and then I used the sketching tools to sketch out and extrude the part. So if you want the Cadillac logo, like I have here, whatever logo it is you want, throw it on, draw all the way around it, extrude it out as much as you want. So once you do that, click OK, and it extrudes out. Now what you're going to do is that same picture that you just used, you're going to apply it as a decal. So if you look in the decals, I have the Caddy logo here. So I did two. I did one as the outside and one as the inside there. So then after you've extruded it, apply a decal using PhotoWorks on as whatever your logo is going to be. So in this case it was a Cadillac logo. So that's how you add a logo onto your tire or rim assembly. And we'll just flip back and we can take another look at it on the completed assembly. And that concludes our tutorial on how to add a logo onto your rims and tires within SolidWorks. This is tutorial number 94, and it's an intro to applying tires and rims to an image of a car within SolidWorks. Now to start off, open up the Ferrari rims that I've included on the DVD here. Now, this is what we're going to try to do, is say you have a picture of a car that you want or you like, and what you want to do is add rims and wheels to put on the car. So you want to see from the old wheels to the new wheels what it looks like and stuff. So what I'm going to do in these next couple tutorials is, from the rims that we made or the rims from the DVD or any ones that you've made yourself, find a picture of a car, could be your own, whichever one you like, an exotic car, whatever, something like this, and we're going to throw it on and we're going to see what it looks like. So really what we're doing is we're pretty much throwing the image on like a thin piece of, you can call it whatever, metal, whatever it is. It's like a thin body, so we're putting the image on there, and then we're moving the tires and rims onto the image so that they're in like the wheel wells, and we can see what the car would look like if we put those type of rims on there. So it's actually a kind of cool way to, if you're shopping for rims, or if you just want to see like what a car would look like with 5-star, 6-spoke, whatever you want, whatever kind of rim you made, you get to see what it looks like on the car. So this is pretty much what we're going to do the next couple tutorials. So it's just a little overview, and I'm just going to render this one just so you can see the effect and what we get going on. And while this is rendering, you can notice that even the picture that you put in, it actually makes it look a little nicer too. It makes it a little brighter, and it actually, with like the lighting and everything, makes it a lot more realistic. So now after the photo works, we've rendered it, and you can see a little bit better what it's going to look like. So this is what we're going to do in the next couple tutorials. So I'm going to show you how I did this from start to finish, and we're just going to go over it so you can have your own image of a car, whatever it is, make the wheels, throw it on, see what it looks like. And this concludes our tutorial on the intro to applying rims and tires onto an image of a car within Solidworks. This is tutorial number 95, and it covers how to select and edit your image to insert the rims and tires within Solidworks. So what we're going to do in this tutorial is I'm going to show you how to select the image and edit and manipulate your image for when you're going to apply it and apply the tires and rims on here. So pretty much what you want to do is you want to get a side profile of the car or truck, whatever you want it to be, and pretty much what we're going to do is just paint inside the wheel wells black. So in these tutorials I'm going to show you using the Cadillac rim that I made from before. What I'm going to show you is taking a Cadillac Escalade and applying the rims that we made in SolidWorks, or that I made from before that are on the DVD, and applying them into there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go search for an image, and I've already done it. I've already searched for Cadillac Escalade. So what you want to do when you're looking for the image of whatever car it is, you want to get like a side profile of the car. So in this instance, the image that I want to use is this one here. So let's pull it up, and it's a side profile. So it's perfect for what we want, because in SolidWorks when we're putting in the tires, we want the side profile. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy this image, and we're going to open up Paint, and let's paste it in there. Now let's just edit this image. So let's take out this Edmunds here and get the spray paint, get black, and where the rims are and the wheel wells, just paint it all black. And just do that for both sides. So that's really all that we want from this picture, is just to have the truck and then the black wheel wells and the black spaces for the rims. So I'm just going to do this. The rest is pretty redundant. You know what to do, is just finish up the picture. So I'm just going to pause it now, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of show you the finished picture. And now I've just finished doing the picture, so I didn't want you sitting there watching me paint the wheel wells for half an hour, but now I've finished editing it. So this is what we're going to have left, and this is what we're going to put in as our picture into an assembly, and then we're going to add the rims where the black circles are. And this concludes our tutorial on how to select an image and edit it for inserting rims within SolidWorks. This is tutorial number 96, and it covers how to insert new rims on an image of a car within SolidWorks. Now, we've already got our rim that is found on the DVD, or we can use any rim that you have and any image. And the image that we're going to use with this Cadillac rim is we're going to use the Cadillac Escalade. And we've already prepped this picture. We put the black on the wheels, so we're ready to go. So let's go to SolidWorks and let's start off. So what we first have to do is create a sheet that we're going to put the image on as a new part, and then we're going to have to make an assembly with the sheet and this rim. So let's go and make the sheet first. Let's click File, click New, click Part, click OK. Now let's sketch out a new sheet. So just make a rectangle, and let's dimension it to 2000 by 3000. Click OK, and extrude it. Just do 10 mils, it can be 1 mil. Just make sure that it's thin. And we have our sheet that we're going to put our image on. So now, take a look at your sheet, and now we're going to add the picture of the car that we made. So make sure that you have a front-on view of it. Use your PhotoWorks. We're going to use a decal, so just throw one on, and then browse and find the picture that we're going to use. So we're going to use the Cadillac Escalade here. So open it up and zoom out a bit. And what we're going to do is we're just going to stretch it to make it fit a little nicer. And when you're stretching it, make sure that you're doing it proportionally. So when you're pulling it out, the whole image is opening up and closing in the right aspect ratio. So you don't want to have the car looking really long or really tall or really fat or whatever. So make sure that you're making everything to scale here when you're pulling it out. So just get it to fit in to that picture there, and just pull it down to the bottom as much as you can. Leave a little gap at the bottom, that's okay. Click OK, and save it as a part file. So I'm going to save it as Caddy. Now, make a new assembly. View the origin. And throw in the truck. And throw in one of the rims. Now, what we're going to have to do here is we're going to kind of have to massage the size of the truck and the picture to the size of the rims. So, we're not going to get it the first time off. You're going to have to play around and just play with like the size and the aspect and everything until the rim looks good and it sits in there nice. So, we're just going to rotate this rim around. And we're going to move it down to the wheel well. And you can see the rim's too big for the truck right now. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to go back to the image, and we're going to have to make it bigger so that it can fit this rim. So flip back to it. And let's edit the sketch. So let's make this 3500. And we'll make this 1500. Click OK. And let's edit the decal. So really, we want the length here, so let's keep pulling it out. And now it fits in there pretty nice, so looks good. Happy with it. So once you have it to fit in there, let's try it again and see how it looks. And we're just using the move component just so we can get an idea. And it looks like it fits in there pretty nice. Covers the whole black that we made, and it looks pretty good on the truck. So now what we're going to do is we're going to mate the wheel onto the image in the wheel well. The first thing though, just go to your PhotoWorks and render just to see if the light's hitting it the right way. You want it to hit this side of the sheet, not the back side. If it's hitting the back side, everything's going to be dark on this side. And right now you can see that it's light, so it looks like everything's hitting the front. And that's what you want. Okay, looks like it's working. So now let's just mate this tire so that it fits into the wheel well. So to start off, let's make a mate here. So click this face, and what we're going to do is we're going to make a distance mate. So what that means is if you look on the side, we're not going to have the whole tire protruding out that much the whole way. We're going to bring it back a bit. So if we do 50, you can see that it goes in some more. So let's put this around 100. Take a look. And it looks good. So it's good there. Now let's try to get this Cadillac symbol straight up. Click OK there. And let's see if we can just rotate this. until we get the symbol to the top. And then what we're going to do is we're going to mate this face here and the little edge here. We're going to make them parallel. And now we have the Cadillac symbol facing up. Like, it's not always going to be like that, of course, when you're driving and everything, but just so when we take a look at the rims and everything, it's going to look a little nicer. So now let's move that back into position there. And now, using those same faces, we can make distance adjustments. So let's do one. So let's click Mate, click this face, click the bottom face, and let's do a distance. So we're just doing this so that when we do both sides, we can be consistent. So let's type in 100. See where it goes. Now, let's look right onto it and just keep going up until it reaches the position that you like it at. So I'd say it's almost there. Keep going a little bit more, and that's good. It's filling up the wheel well. Nice. Click OK. And now we're going to do another distance mate with this face here and this face here. So do distance again, and let's take a look at it from the front there, and just keep going until it fits in the wheel well, in the position that you want. And that looks good for me, so I'm happy with it. Actually, we'll put it back just a little bit more. Right there. So now let's insert the second rim. So click Insert, same Cadillac rim, throw it in. Just rotate it a little bit. And now let's start making some mates again. So let's mate this face and the back. Make it a distance mate. Make it 100. Click OK. And let's just rotate this rim around so we can get the Cadillac symbol to the top. We'll mate this edge here and the bottom edge. Make them parallel. And now let's click on the old mate that we made before. So let's just take a look at the distance that we had for this wheel here from the bottom, and it was 430. So it might not be the right distance for the back tire exactly because of the picture and everything, but to be consistent on both ends, let's just try to insert that 430 and just see what it looks like and see if it may or may not work for us. So type in the 430, flip the direction there, and click OK. Let's just move it more over to the middle there, and it looks pretty good. Looks like it's going to work, so we'll keep that there. And now let's just do one more mate for the edge here. So click the interface there, and click this face here, and make another distance mate. Start out at 600. And just keep going like the other one until it fits in the right position for you. Now, with all this, it's not too precise, even with the car image and everything. It's up to you to massage it and just make it your own. Make it look how you want it and make it your feel. So let's zoom in, and now we can see. Click OK. Let's hide everything, hide all types. So now we got the rims on our truck that we've made. So let's give it a little rendering and see what it looks like. So zoom in a bit, and let's render it. Now again, with the lighting and everything, it's up to you. You're gonna have to play around with it to get the best effect and to get exactly what you want out of the image. Now, it's a little too bright right now for it, but you can get the idea that we put the rims in, the rims are there, and we can get a good idea of, say these were a prototype rim or a rim that we wanted to put on our own truck. We can see what it's going to look like, how the stance is going to look, and if we'll like it ourselves. So really, if you have a car at home, you can take a side profile picture like this, paint in the wheel wells, find whatever kind of rim it is that you want, that you're looking for, mock it up in here, and just throw it in. And that concludes our tutorial on how to insert new rims on a picture of a car within Solidworks. This is tutorial number 97, and it covers how to substitute rims within Solidworks. Now, to start off, open up the caddy assembly, which I've included on the DVD, or the assembly that you made yourself. That includes the picture of whatever vehicle it is and whichever rims. So what we're trying to achieve here is, say I've already got these Cadillac rims on here. Say I want to see what another set of rims look like on here. How do we do that? Quickly and easily, it goes in the same position. So what I'm going to do first is just substitute the front wheel. So I right click on it in the tree, and let's find the replace component. So click replace component, and then just browse for another rim. So I'm going to use this rim here. So I'm going to click open, click OK. Don't worry about missing mates. Click accept. And now I've got another rim in place of the Cadillac rim. So I'm going to do it for the back rim too. So let's replace it with the same rim. And accept it. And now we can see that we've got different rims on the Cadillac now. And we can render it like we did before, so we'll do the render. And then we can see what this set of rims looks like compared to the Cadillac rims that we had on before. So this little technique quickly and easily lets you create, say you have 10 different sets of rims, different styles. You can have one image of the car, whatever it is, and you can keep swapping rims, playing around with whatever design it is, and you can see the results, what it looks like, what works for your car, what doesn't, and it's just very easy and simple to use. So we'll just let it finish rendering here. And now we can see what it looks like with this set of rims compared to the Cadillac rims from before. And that concludes our tutorial on how to substitute rims within Solidworks.